Oh, that's a good snake. That's a nice size. And look at the head flare on him. Stevens banded snake, 20-30 minutes after that roughy. Golden crown snake.
Tiny little neonate Stevens banded snake.
There is one of the main targets for the night. How good is that? Alright, so I'm currently driving up north. I've got Matt, David, and Susanna from Living Zoology. They've come out from the Czech Republic and David's come from the US. And we're going to be spending the next few days around the Sydney region searching for a bunch of different venomous snakes. Tonight, we're mainly targeting Stevens banded snake, rough-scaled snake, golden crown snake, and dwarf crown snake. So hopefully we'll have a bit of luck tonight, and we may still be up there tomorrow night. We're going to wait and see how tonight goes, but yeah, the conditions are pretty good. It's like mid-20s and overcast. We sort of last minute changed plans and ditched the first spot we were going to go to avoid some bad weather, but hopefully it pays off and we'll find a few cool things tonight. So the sun has just dropped behind the horizon. It'll be dusk in probably 20 minutes. So we've gotten up to the spot at a perfect time. We wanted to get here a little bit before dark so that we could just suss out the habitat. So we're in a new area. I haven't herped the road that we're going to be on tonight. This is the sort of habitat. We've got this nice rainforest and stuff. It's perfect for Stevens banded snakes and rough-scaled snakes and stuff. And there's a bunch of ponds and stuff off of this road as well. Ponds are good for rough-scaled snakes and other things because roughies eat frogs. They love frogs. The Stevens banded snakes are probably the most elusive, or they can be. But they absolutely love this high canopy, a dense understory in the rainforest. They absolutely love this rainforesty sort of habitat when you've got the, you know, like holes in the trees there like that. And around the bases of all these fronds, there's just piles of leaves. It's perfect cover for them. Just pulled onto the road and look at that. There is one of the main targets for the night on dusk, prime time, an adult rough-scaled snake. And look at the head flare on him. He's not happy. That is so good. That was the main reason we pulled down this road, was because it's better for roughies down here and it's paid off. That is so sick. We're gonna move off the tar and get a better look at him, but how good is that?
Our first major target for the night ticked off on dusk. The rough-scaled snake. We've got a fiery little sub-adult. He was head flaring like mad on the road, but got him a bit more calmed down. He's not really flaring as much. So cool that we got a rough-scaled on this road because I had a feeling that it would be good for him. And I've never hurt this road at night, but straight away the results are showing. Within the distribution, rough-scaled snakes are really common around wetlands and creeks and streams. Anywhere you get frogs really, and on the road here tonight, where we found him, he was coming out of a little agricultural pond on someone's property, no doubt smashing the frogs and going for a forage. But yeah, dusk is a great time for rough-scaled snakes. So we're gonna go out now and see what else we can turn up for tonight.
Yeah, just from today.
Yeah, that was hit the servo. Dead common tree snake. A decent sized one as well. There it is, the next target for the night. Stevens banded snake, like 20-30 minutes after that roughy on the same road. This isn't even where we were going to target the Stevens, but young little awesome. Stevens banded snake. That is so sick. I thought this was a bandy from the car too.
Yeah, I mean from the distance it might bendy. Look like that.
Yeah. Tiny little neonate Stevens banded snake, and he is really defensive. The cutest little Stevens banded. This is like one of the smallest ones I've seen, and it's not as small as they'd be when they're a hatchling, but it's definitely not a big Stevens. So they can get to around 1 meter long. So this is definitely a really small snake, but it's cool because they give birth to live young. So a big female must have dropped a litter of little Stevens around here somewhere, and this defensive posturing is pretty typical for all the hoplos. They rear up, they flatten that head, and hoplocephalus actually translates to wide head or broad head. It relates back to the defensive posturing of all three in the genus. Another arboreal elapid found on the mid-north coast can be pretty elusive, so it's awesome not only that we got one on the first night, but that we got one on the road that I was hoping would produce, because it's the first night here that I've done, and we got 2 of the main targets. How good is that? But yeah, I talked about one of these a bit more in depth in a different video, so you'll have to go check that one out. We're gonna let the other guys get their footage of this little snake, and hopefully we can turn up a big adult as well, because this one might be a little bit hard to get footage of when it's this small. But yeah, that is banging.
All right, next up, the third of 4 targets for the night. Golden crown snake. Usually pretty common throughout this area, but it's so good that we've gotten majority of the targets for tonight. We just need that dwarf crown, and if we're gonna push our luck, maybe a bandy tonight too. That is
amazingly.
Yeah. That is awesome. He's starting to posture up a bit now. Yeah, this snake survived 3 cars that must have driven straight over the top of it, which is very lucky. But you can see on the back end there, he's got like either an old injury or a really big subcutaneous parasite from eating frogs, because they feed predominantly on frogs anyways. It's not uncommon for them to get those parasites, but you can see that beautiful crown-shaped marking on the head as well, now that he's finally sitting still. They're such a beautiful snake. Even though they're common and they're overlooked by most herpers, golden crowns are that good.
Well, it's the first one we see in our lives, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah. We just lost the 4th snake of the night, which was a tiny little neonate rough-scaled snake. Horrible size, and it disappeared. All right, we're changing up the tactics a bit now, because that other road was slowing down after the last few laps. So we're here on a different road, a dirt road this time, and we're going to be shining around, seeing if we can get a bigger Stevens and a dwarf crown, which are the last. We need a bigger Stevens, but the dwarf crown's the main last target for the night. But it's exciting that other road was producing, because that was the first time that I've herped that road, and it was really good. So now I've got a new herp road to go up in this area that produces snakes. So that's exciting. But yeah, we'll see how this road goes. Fingers crossed we can turn up something else. Massive blind snake. Yeah, that's a blackish blind snake.
Blackish blind snake.
It's like one of the biggest blind snakes I've ever seen. Yeah. I swear I could smell it when I was walking up to it on the road. Yeah, blind snakes usually aren't very exciting, but
no, this is
one
huge.
This size is pretty interesting.
This is huge.
You can definitely smell
really
it.
Get at least few shots of this guy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, this is the main food source. Well, the only food source for bandies. This is the main thing that they eat.
Yeah.
Big worm-like looking snakes that just reek. They've got this little spike on the end of their tail, and they use that to like prick it into you, and then they just drip this foul-smelling musk all over you. But yeah, a blind snake this size would have liters of toxic-smelling musk. I'm not game enough to touch this thing. Since we've been out of the car, you can feel the temperature. The temperatures have dropped a fair bit. Luckily for Stevens and dwarf crowns, that's not too big of a deal. They don't mind the cold, thankfully, but for other things like adders and stuff, you wouldn't really expect to see them out. But we've still got hope. Second golden crown of the night. Well, it's bigger than the last one.
Yeah, it's big.
And without injuries. I'm curious if he also has that orangey belly.
Yeah, he will, yeah.
He will?
Yeah, that's pretty typical for golden crowns. The temperatures have dropped heaps since that last, well, even when we found that golden crown, the temperatures have dropped heaps. So, yeah, that crownie will be the last snake of the night. Still a very good night. Got 3 out of 4 of the main targets. We will come back tomorrow once we're out. We made like an hour and a half detour to come see the tallest tree in New South Wales. That is massive. Even though this isn't the area that we're going to be herping tonight, and we're not really near it because we're herping new areas tonight and last night. Got to see this tree. It's a nice habitat around here as well. But it's pretty good to get out and try some new areas. And last night it produced, so hopefully tonight we'll have just as much luck as well. Late arvo for night 2, just having a quick feed before we head out. It was really hot today, it was like 32 degrees, but right now the temperatures are dropping a fair bit, the wind's picked up. So we were hoping for death adders, but the cool changes coming through, we may struggle for them tonight, but we still need a big Stevens and dwarf crown. So I'm gonna smash my meal and we're gonna get out into it. We'll see you once it's dark. Just out waiting for it to get dark. It's almost dusk, which is going to be prime time for Stevens, the adders. Not Stevens, prime time for adders. So yeah, in like 10 minutes we're going to head out. Me, get a load at the size of this rough scale. Alright, so we had to move this little guy a little bit off the road because it was a bit chaotic on that busy road back there. I ended up having to stop with a car behind me and a car in front of me to save that snake. He was going to get cleaned up for sure. I actually don't know how the car in front didn't clean him up. This thing is massive. This is seriously probably the biggest rough-scaled snake I've ever seen. So chunky. Generally in this area they average about 1 foot long, and this thing's over 2 feet long. And for the species, like, they can get over 1 meter long. It's not uncommon, but for the area though, I've never seen them this, like, obviously they would get this big, but I've never seen it. So I'm excited. And this thing would pack an absolute punch with those venom glands. It's got a big head. I would hate to cop a whack from this thing. Rough-scaled snakes do not mess about, but that is a beautiful snake and a good first snake of the night. Let's keep it going. Second snake of the night is a big eastern small-eyed.
Is he basking?
Very big eastern small-eyed. No, he was going that way. He's just turned around. The road's not even warm, but
Small-eyed snake.
Big
Our
eastern
second for this
small-eyed.
trip.
all right, so it didn't take too long after dark, and here is the main target for the night, common death adder. It's only a pretty small one. This is like the smallest I've seen, and it's not a hatchling. This probably be, I don't know, 1 or 2 years old, but it's definitely a small snake, and very exciting to get one of the main targets for the trip. We just need that big Stevens for tonight, and yeah, that's a wrap. How good. Beautiful little snake. We're going to quickly get him off the road before this car comes. All right, so here's a close-up look at that nice coloured little common death adder. Nice little grey coloured snake, typical colour form for up in this area. And it's a pretty small snake. It's one of the smaller ones I've seen, probably only a couple years old, which I think I already said, but it's a nice little snake. First death adder for the trip up here, and one of the main targets. It's pretty exciting. In typical adder fashion though, he's not sitting still at all. Sometimes you get them sitting really well, they don't move a muscle, and other times they just decide they want to move and they don't stop. And this is one of those snakes, but who cares? Beautiful snake, one of the main targets. Maybe we'll find another one later, and maybe it'll be more cooperative, who knows. The weather's still great though, so we're going to keep moving. Very good. So the road we were just driving, so this massive tree branch fall down. The wind is strong, that's not good.
Looks better.
Good bit of karma for the night. Next one of the night, things are moving. Common scaly foot. It's Wrigley boy. They're a nice orange colour up here on the mid-north coast. That's a good looking lizard. Regen tail too.
Which one is it?
Common scaly foot.
Common scaly
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing the eye lick.
Yes. What a way.
I lick, yeah.
Alright, so this is one of the main targets for the night. The last one, Stevens banded snake, an adult. We got that little one last night, but we needed that big one. And here it is early on in the night on the tar. Oh, we got a car coming. Yeah. And again, a little bit chaotic to get this Stevens banded off the road. Lots of cars, and it was in a terrible spot, but how exciting. Big Stevens banded tonight. So we've got the adder and the big Stevens, the two major targets for the night. And oh my god, it's still early hours. It's like 9:30 or something, but the pressure's off now. This is, funnily enough, this is actually the first Stevens I've ever seen on this particular road as well. So that's sick. Beautiful snake. You can't not love him. I would have shown one of these in detail in one of the previous videos, so I'm not gonna give a huge spiel about this one. You'll have to go check out that other video, but just admire this snake. This snake is so good. The Stevens bandeds here are stunning, and I actually never get tired of seeing them. That is, tonight is shaping up to be one of the better nights I've had in a long time.
It's a huge
Next
one.
find of the night is a big carpet python.
Species number 7.
Oh, that's a good
Nice.
snake. That's a nice sized python as well. Wow.
Python.
How good.
Wow.
Beautiful carpet python sitting on the side of the dirt track tonight. Really nice yellow coloration. A little bit emaciated, or maybe it's just an old snake. You can sort of see the spine there, but decent sized snake. That's species number 7 for the night. We just had a golden crown as well that was bleeding from the mouth, so I didn't video it, but we gave it the benefit of the doubt. I keep hearing a great barred frog calling. I've never seen them here, so I've got to find this thing. He's teasing me. Next snake of the night. Yeah, it's a small lad. I thought it was a dwarf crown. We were going for species number 8.
Yeah.
Damn. That's a good sight. Another python. How good. Let's climb up and get a look at him. Oh, that looks way more diamond-like. The coloration on this one is so nice. The variation that you see in the carpet pythons is ridiculous. You don't really find any two that look the same, but this one's got some real nice yellow coloration to it. Quite solid and healthy, probably on the hunt for a small mammal. There's a few mammals out at the moment, so he might get lucky. We'll leave him to his hunt. Yeah. Another chonky small-eyed snake. Cryptophis nigrescens. This one's got a bit of girth to it. Still no dwarf crown, surprisingly. Another small-eyed. I've been drumming with the tray open.
Python.
Big python on the road. Oh, yeah. The variation in compared to last night's thing. Big python.
Big python.
That is cracker. Big, solid carpet python out on the road in the late afternoon. That is awesome. This was a really nice snake too, real solid and healthy in comparison to the first one we got last night that was a bit more underweight. This thing's got a big head on it, but he's just cruised off across the road. So just gonna make sure he gets up this embankment and leave him to it. Geez, that is awesome. First snake of the night I just chased off the road. Rough-scaled snake. I'm not messing with him. I'm not in the mood to mess with a roughie tonight. Yeah, dog. Don't get off the road, where are ya? It's gone, there it is. There's a car coming. Death adder, adult death adder. Just after the roughie, chucked a U-banger, and there's that adult death adder that I said I wanted tonight. That is a good looking snake. That is a real good looking snake. A nice grey coloration. And yeah, the road is cooking. I had a feeling tonight to be good for death adders. Oh, they're such a good snake. Even though they're common in the area, just such a beautiful species. Next up, beautiful little python. That's a ripper. That is a good looking snake. The pythons are pumping at the moment. And no two look the same. This one looks completely different to the others we've been seeing. And look how small he is. Well, that car coming through would have cleaned up that python 100%. So this golden crown snake is the next snake of the night. Oh my gosh. Another death adder. That thing's nice. Sick. Second death adder for the night. And this is only just down from where we got the first one. Look at that. This Stevens has just been clipped by a car coming through. You can see he's still twitching. That sucks. So last night I was talking about that barred frog. I was trying to find in this bit here. Couldn't find him, but here he is now. Ooh, the leaf just fell on him. That is the great barred frog, Myxophyes fasciolatus. And for this area, this is a pretty good find. I've visited this pond probably a dozen times and I've never seen one of these here. So randomly, the past 2 nights, this bloke and I think a couple of other individuals have been calling. That is sick. He's sort of bunkered down now.
in true Mixify's fashion. They get all sulky and put their heads down and kind of shut their eyes to try and camouflage. Next one of the night. Wolf crown snake. Cacophus crefti. That's a new species for the night. Next up for the night, another massive golden crown. This guy's a tank. We're in a horrible spot on the road, blind corner, so we've got to let him go. I see a snake cruising onto the road. What is it? Small-eyed. Yeah, another small-eyed. Get off. Little small-eyed. He's just going about it. Little 2-for-1 special here. Big, fat, small eye. Look at the size of that small eye. That's a girthy boy. And we got a golden crown. Oh, and a huntsman next to him as well. Next snake of the night's a pretty good one. It's a sensational one. That's a big Stevens banded snake. Oh my God. That is sick. Stevens banded snake, Hoplocephalus Stevens eye. We've now seen one of these every single night for the past 3 nights. This is the biggest of the lot and the healthiest. Wow, that is awesome. This is probably going to be the last snake of the night too. This big Stevens has got a meal in his belly, so we're going to let him go because we don't want him to risk regurgitating that meal. See ya, buddy. What a snake. Looks like that big Stevens will probably be the last snake of the night. We've had a killer night. We've had a killer past 3 nights. But yeah, probably going to wrap it up now and start cruising out. We may see something on the way out, but yeah, that's probably going to be the last snake of the night. It's a pretty good way to end what has been a massively successful previous 3 nights.